Sicil found herself fully immersed in the discussions, bouncing ideas with her new colleagues and absorbing their insights. As the day progressed, her new team members welcomed her warmly, their fellowship evident as they brainstormed strategies and outlined plans for the upcoming event in a big boardroom. The clock ticked on, and the time moved swiftly. Cecil's phone buzzed and missed calls from Ethan. When she finally glanced at her phone late in the evening, she realized she had lost track of time amid their intense planning session. She felt guilty for not keeping Ethan informed, so she sent him a quick message explaining the situation and promised to call him back once she got home. Meanwhile, Sebastian, ever the observant leader, noticed Cecil's missed calls and the late hour. With a smile, he suggested, "How about we take a break and grab some dinner? We have been at it for hours, and I think we could all use a good meal." The team readily agreed, grateful for the chance to unwind after a productive session. Sebastian took charge, organizing the outing and ensuring everyone was on board. Soon, they found themselves at a nearby restaurant, laughing and sharing stories over delicious food. As the evening drew to a close and Sebastian was driving her back home, she felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her. Yet, amidst the fatigue, there was a sense of accomplishment and gratitude for the support of her new team and Sebastian. When the car came to a halt in front of her house, she softly said, "Thank you, Seb," offering a tired but genuine smile. "I really appreciate everything today." Sebastian leaned in and placed a gentle kiss on her cheek. "Well done on your first day, Sicil. By the way, we have an early start tomorrow at 7 a.m. We will be checking out a few venues for the event. Get some rest, and I will see you in the morning." Sicil, a little surprised by Sebastian's tender gesture, yet grateful for the support and excited about the upcoming day, agreed with a tired yet contented smile. 7 a.m. it is. Good night, Seb." Sebastian returned her smile, his eyes reflecting pride and encouragement. "You did great today, Sicil. Rest up and we will tackle tomorrow together." Sicil stepped out of the car. The weariness of the day weighed heavily on her, each step feeling heavier than the last. She trudged into her room, barely registering the familiar surroundings, and collapsed onto her bed, still clad in her work clothes. Thoughts of Ethan and his missed calls were pushed to the back of her mind as exhaustion overtook her, rendering her oblivious to the world around her. Meanwhile, at the other end of town, Ethan's patience wore thin as he waited for Cecil's call, which never came. Frustration gnawed at him as he tossed and turned in his bed, his mind plagued by unanswered calls and growing concern for Sicil. Eventually, fatigue claimed him, but his sleep was restless, disturbed by the absence of Cecil's reassuring voice. While next door, Sebastian lay awake in bed, his thoughts consumed by Sicil. The memory of her lips lingered in his mind, igniting a longing and desire within him that he could not shake. Despite his own exhaustion, sleep eluded him as he replayed the moments they had together, each one etching itself deeper into his consciousness. The night wore on. Sicil, Ethan, and Sebastian each found themselves ensnared in the tangled web of their own thoughts and emotions, their paths intertwined yet diverging in the silence of the night. Sicil woke up early in the morning. A wave of realization washed over her as she glanced at her phone, still in silent mode. Her heart sank at the sight of 15 missed calls from Ethan. Without wasting a moment, she dialed his number, her fingers trembling slightly with apprehension. Groggy from sleep, Ethan answered on the first ring. "Hey, Sicil, are you okay? What happened last night?" "Why are you up so early?" he asked, his voice laced with concern. Sicil took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart as she recounted the events of the previous evening. "I am so sorry, Ethan. I got caught up with work, and by the time I realized it was already too late," she explained, her words rushed with guilt. Ethan listened attentively, his sleepy haze slowly dissipating as he processed Cecil's words. "It is okay, Sicil. I am only glad to hear you are all right," he replied softly, his tone reassuring despite the underlying worry. Cecil's mind raced as she tried to come up with a solution to make it up to Ethan. "Listen, about today. I have to visit different venues for the event all day," she began, her voice apologetic. Ethan nodded understandingly, though a hint of disappointment lingered in his voice. "Of course, I understand. Just do not forget about Saturday," he reminded her gently. "We're going to Tia's for lunch, remember? Sicil's heart warmed at the mention of spending time with Ethan's family, especially his beloved sister Tia. "Of course I have not forgotten," she assured him, a smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "I am looking forward to it." With a promise to call him later, Sicil ended the call, feeling a sense of gratitude for Ethan's support and understanding, even amid her busy schedule. Sebastian arrived promptly at 7 a.m. to whisk Sicil away for another whirlwind of activity. The days blurred into one another, a flurry of meetings, site visits, and endless planning sessions. From dawn until dusk, they were consumed by the intricacies of organizing the event, leaving no room for respite. Despite the hectic schedule, Sebastian always was available for small moments of connection. Every day, when the day's work concluded and the city lights shimmered in the distance, Sebastian would drop Sicil home. Even though exhaustion threatened to overwhelm them, he would gently bid Sicil goodnight with a tender kiss. One evening, while returning home, they strolled through their old neighborhood and stumbled upon their favorite childhood hideout, a rustic treehouse nestled amidst towering oaks. Sicil could not help but feel a rush of nostalgia. The fading sunlight cast a golden hue over the scene, illuminating the memories that lay dormant in the corner of her heart. "Remember this place?" Sebastian's voice broke the silence, his eyes gleaming with reminiscence as he gestured towards the treehouse nestled among the trees. Sicil's lips curled into a fond smile as she nodded. "Of course, how could I forget? That treehouse was our sanctuary," she replied, her voice touched with nostalgia. They made their way towards the treehouse, their footsteps echoing through the quiet surroundings. As they climbed the creaky wooden ladder and stepped inside, the air was filled with the scent of old wood and memories. "After you left, I used to come here alone. Look, this has not changed a bit," Sicil remarked, running her fingers along the rough walls of the treehouse. Sebastian's eyes sparkled with warmth. "Yeah, it has not changed a bit. It feels like we were just here yesterday," he said, his voice wistful. Sicil nodded in agreement, her gaze drifting to the window overlooking the street below. "I miss those days," she admitted, a hint of sadness in her voice. Sebastian turned to her, his expression softening. "Me too," he said quietly, his eyes meeting hers. "But hey, at least we have these memories to hold on to, right?" Sicil smiled, grateful for the comfort of his presence. "Yeah, you are right. And who knows, we will make some new memories too," she said optimistically, her eyes alight with possibility. Another afternoon, Sebastian stopped by a local fair to have lunch. Amidst the vibrant colours and cheerful atmosphere of the local fair, Sicil and Sebastian immersed themselves in the festivities. The scent of cotton candy wafted through the air as they wandered from one attraction to another, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the bustling crowd. "Come on, Seb, let's try our luck at the ring toss," Sicil exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she tugged him towards the game booth. Sebastian hesitated for a moment before nodding, a shy smile gracing his lips. "All right, but I can't promise I'll be any good at this," he admitted, his cheeks flushing slightly. Sicil grinned, her competitive spirit ignited. "Don't worry, I'll teach you," she said with a playful wink. They took turns tossing the rings. Their laughter filled the air, punctuated by cheers and groans each time they hit or missed their target. Despite Sebastian's initial reservations, Sicil's encouragement and infectious enthusiasm spurred him on, and soon they were both fully immersed in the game. Afterwards, they treated themselves to some cotton candy, their fingers sticky with sugar as they shared the fluffy confection. They walked hand in hand the entire time, and Sicil could not help but notice the change in Sebastian's demeanor. The once shy and reserved boy now came alive in the carnival atmosphere, his laughter ringing out freely. "You know, I don't think I've seen you laugh this way since your return," Sicil remarked, a fond smile tugging at her lips. Sebastian shrugged, a bashful expression crossing his face. "I guess I'm just having fun," he admitted, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Sicil nodded in understanding, her heart warming at the sight of Sebastian's genuine happiness. At that moment, amidst the whirl of carnival rides and games, she felt a deep sense of affection for the bond they shared. They continued to explore the fair together, and Sicil could not help but feel hopeful for the future. knowing that their friendship might survive the rough sea and not all is lost.